Chapter 3 Season 1. What a time to be alive. As Chapter 2 Season 8 ended with the flipped live event, Chapter 3 Season 1 started us off with a brand new map. It brought us the likes of tents, weather effects, moving boulders and trees, and of course, who can forget the Spider-Man mythic. But I think when many of us look back to Chapter 3, one major update that sticks out like a sore thumb is the Klombo update. How's it going, everyone? It's truly Mystic, and in today's video, I wanted to talk about Klombo. You see, there's a couple leaks going around saying that we might get a Lego Klombo soon, and it just got me feeling nostalgic for Klombo. Not to mention that I've been feeling pretty nostalgic about Chapter 3, and I just kind of want to go back in time for this video. So enough blabbering, without further ado, let's go over the legendary story of Klombo, the dino. In order to go through Klombo's story, we have to start at the beginning. Chapter 3 Season 1. Released on December 5th, 2021, we gained a brand new map with snow all around. But many players noticed that there were a bunch of holes and burrows within the snow, hinting at a possible creature coming to the game pretty soon. As the days went by, eventually January 18th is when the big dino himself, Klombo, would make his grand appearance. Now, Klombo functioned very differently, but also very similarly compared to the previous wildlife that we have gotten in the game. Before Klombo, we had the sharks, the crows, the wolves, raptors, frogs, boars, and even parasite aliens. But what made Klombo stand out from the rest was his sheer size. We've gotten dinosaurs in the game before, but nowhere near as big as Klombo. The raptors do not hold a candle to this big dinosaur as he roamed around the Fortnite island, lugging his massive body for Fortnite players to eventually, well, provoke the poor dude. You see, the way Klombo worked was basically you come up to him and you can give him a Klomberry, which was a new foraged item introduced in Chapter 3 that allowed him to grant you an item when consumed and essentially be your best bud. But as I mentioned, yeah, provoked. Of course, Fortnite being a shooting battle royale game, players would attack Klombo, and this would agitate him, causing him to change from a friendly to aggressive beast and fire these acidic balls at you. Popular streamers like Nick30 messed around with Klombo so much, attempting to even eliminate him, but no worries, the big giant would never become eliminated because Klombo was basically unkillable. Another cool feature that Klombo had was his blowhole right on top of him, acting as a geyser, allowing you to activate glider redeploy, which was amazing for rotation at the time. Such a beautiful creature and has some of the best game mechanics that we've seen in a while. It's hard to imagine Epic ever removing this dinosaur anytime soon. Well, unfortunately for the story of Klombo, all good things must come to an end. As we had our laughs and fun experiences with the giant guy, Chapter 3 Season 1 would come to an end on March 19th of 2022, leading us to our second season of Chapter 3 Resistance, where March 20th, 2022, we would get a brand new season of Fortnite with huge map changes and game-altering mechanics. But unfortunately, we would not be seeing the return of Klombo the Dino. Now, in this season, we did get a brief cameo, if you would call it that, as in one of the bunkers down below, you could actually hear Klombo crying behind a giant door that was sealed shut. A sad Easter egg for anyone to come across it, but it left many players hoping that Klombo will eventually make his return. Chapter 3 Season 3. For Chapter 3 Season 3, we got the Vibin season for the game, which incorporated even more map changes like a giant tree coming out of nowhere, and more fun mechanics for the summer of that time. And as players hoped that this would be the season where Klombo would return, unfortunately that wasn't the case. In fact, what players did end up finding was the remains of Klombo the Great. This was a sad sight for many to see, as this marked the end of Klombo's journey. We were led to believe that he was killed during the war between the Io and the Seven. A gruesome and hard reality to swallow. Eventually, Chapter 3, Season 3 went by, and for the last season of this chapter, Season 4, we would still not see the return of Klombo, eventually finally ending during the fractured event, and, well, you may know the rest of the story. The Herald claims the island with the chrome and ends up blowing it up. And unfortunately, that's the end of Chapter 3. Moving on to Chapter 4, a great season for many. As much as I love it, we didn't see the return of many things from Chapter 3, like the weather events, and of course, Klombo the Dino. And for the rest of Chapter 4, we still wouldn't see Klombo. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and months turn into years, and, well, still no sign of Klombo. It's now Chapter 5. We now come into the present time. In Season 2 Myths and Mortals, we would get a big leak in regards to Klombo. Up on screen is the big roadmap leak that we got for the future of Chapter 5 and so forth. And in one of the images, you can actually see Klombo in a Lego form. The community rejoiced. Finally, just being able to see Klombo in any official Fortnite artwork is amazing. And as the roadmap continued to become true and truer, it was only a matter of time before Klombo would eventually make his return, at least in Lego form. And well, now we get to basically where we're at now. There's a bunch of leaks saying that Klombo will make a return at least in the Lego format, and honestly, I would love for this to happen. I know I say this on the channel a lot, that Lego mode is just kind of there, and I feel like not a lot of people play it, but seeing Klombo potentially come back into Lego mode at the very least just puts a smile on my face, and I'm sure it does for many of you too. Now, like I said, this is only going to be for Lego and not for Battle Royale, which is very unfortunate. However, there's a slim, and I mean very, very slim chance that they could also add Klombo into this season, but considering that it just doesn't really make sense, especially with everything Marvel related going on, I don't think that's going to be the case. And so it begs the big question of this video: when will we see Klombo again? Well, to answer that question, I feel like we first have to understand why Fortnite even got rid of Klombo. I don't think there was anything necessarily wrong with Klombo. In fact, the community enjoyed him so much, and they even put out a tweet saying that if anything would happen to Klombo, something bad would happen. And well, Klombo's gone. Unfortunately, there was nothing we could really do about it because Fortnite wouldn't add Klombo back for many, many seasons later. Well, as much as we did love Klombo, we'd also have to admit that there were a couple issues during the gameplay side of Klombo being in the game. Now, this is just speculation, and I'm not speaking 100% facts here, but I think there had to have been some sort of technical issues in regards to keeping this giant, massive dinosaur into the game. I mean, if you have this giant dino roaming around the map through water, through weather effects, and engaging with the players and all these different weird items and everything, eventually Klombo would just not be able to sustain all of that and could possibly be a massive hindrance to players during matches. I mean, think about it. If you get him angry enough, he'll start shooting acid balls at you. We don't have really anything like that in the game, and to continue to support this creature for seasons and seasons to come would be very hard for Epic. And so I think unfortunately they had to make the decision to get rid of him, as keeping him long term would just create way more issues that they could not deal with at the time. So I think that's the reason why we only got Klombo for one season. That could also explain why we haven't seen things like the physics trees and boulders, or even things like the tornadoes and lightning storms in a while. It's just because they take a lot to maintain and would be hard to keep up with, especially nowadays in Fortnite. Which is definitely a bummer because I think Chapter 3 had some of the best features and game mechanics in Fortnite history, and I stand by that. At least for Season 1. I didn't really like the Chrome season. I'm sorry. So now we have to answer, when will Klombo come back? But even before that, will he come back? I think without a shadow of a doubt, Klombo will make a return. It's kind of like Tilted Towers. We wanted Tilted to come back for so long, and it's funny because in Chapter 3, the same update that Klombo came out, they gave us Tilted Towers. Albeit it wasn't the OG Tilted, it was still a version of Tilted Towers nonetheless. And so I think Fortnite's trying to play a similar card and get the community to feel really nostalgic for Klombo, so that eventually, maybe not this season, but I'm probably betting for Chapter 6, they make the big dino come back again. And everyone would be happy again, rejoicing that the big guy is finally back in the game. And so yeah, I think Klombo will make a return, he will come back. Maybe they'll make some changes to him and give him a brand new look, or even brand new game features. And I guess I kinda already answered this question, but when will Klombo come back? Like I said, he might come in Chapter 6. I don't think he'll come in this season because it's a heavily focused Marvel season, and then after this we're getting Chapter 2 OG, which has nothing to do with Klombo. But I think for sure Klombo and the Klomberries will make a return in Chapter 6 in some way, shape, or form. You can't tease us like that all the way back in Chapter 3 Season 2, having Klombo cry behind that door, and then next season we just see his remains. Yes, he's a prehistoric creature and it would make sense for him to be extinct, but who knows what they're gonna do in Chapter 6. I mean, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, that Fortnite has to do for Chapter 6 to really show the community who they are again. I mean, not a lot of people are enjoying the base of Chapter 5, and so what better way than to incorporate one of your greatest creations back into the game for Chapter 6. And so I'm calling it Chapter 6, Klombo will make a return and we will see him again. And with that, I conclude the story of Klombo the Dino. Anyways, I hope all of you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little different than the ones I usually make, so let me know in the comments section below, what did you guys think, and should I make more videos like this? I'd love to talk about previous chapter or season wonders that we've gotten that not a lot of people talk about nowadays, and I think there's a lot of potential for a series like this to continue, so hey, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And make sure you use code TRULYMYSTIC in the item shop if you want to support me there. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one. But until then, peace.